Hi, it's really late here, but I just couldn't find the proper time to make a video. Um, I will be speaking about an important issue. I already spoke about it, and I don't think this is going to be repeating of it. It was like 5, 6 days ago, but it seems like it was couple of years ago because other things have happened and I am much in earthly endeavors lately, things that are involved in some changes that I'm going through. So I wasn't really much into making videos, but it's needed. This is needed, especially now. So I'm going to be speaking about triggers and triggering. I have already mentioned this in different ways in many other videos that I made, and I explained it, but it just seems that it didn't come across properly. So I'll be repeating it in a little bit different way. So, what are triggers? Triggers are uh, an external event, stimuli, or energy that creates a response, a reaction inside of you. Um, that is a certain energy that is exactly the same of the kind of energy that was present when something was happening to you. So it reminds you of a certain event that has happened to you, or it's not, if not an event, then it's the same energy that was happening then, which means that that's instigating a memory inside of you. And the places in your energy where this connects to, where this hits you, so to speaking, is like a wound in your energy body and other bodies that you have, but it's mostly in your emotional body. um, you have an emotional response to a certain thing. So this event thing, uh, something that people say, something that people do, any kind of external stimuli that instigates a certain response inside of you that's exaggerated, that's overwhelmed with emotions, that's over passionate to say, uh, that's excessive, that leaves you wondering, why did I react like this? Or somebody else reacts towards you in this way and it leaves you wondering, what happened? What just happened? And you have no clue what happened, but you just somehow triggered somebody into a certain response. It doesn't necessarily need to be a negative event or a negative energy, or whatever that you say doesn't need to be a negative thing. It just instigates a memory. It's usually a memory, whether from this life or a past life, and it wants to be seen. It wants to grab your attention in a certain, in this way. So usually, I mean, we are not thinking about our own reactions as much. I mean, I've been speaking about this when I was saying that we have um, in our energy, that our energy contains memory, and this is what we're tapping into, especially in our body also contains memory, and this is what we're tapping into when we're going to past lives, or when we're doing body work and communicating with our body, or some place in our body or in our energy that is trying to tell us something. But lately it's been happening too much. It's been happening all over. Everybody's being triggered because the energies are being, I mean, the energies are right. Energies are good. Energies are rising. and the energies that we are receiving are making us react in a certain way, or make other people react towards us in a certain way, because usually means that we have a joint memory or some energetic connections that need to be cleared. And this is showing us where we need to look. So triggers are actually not bad things. It's like they're like GPS. They're like you can use them to navigate yourself, to understand what is happening to your system, to understand where else you need to look and what you need to do about it. When you sit down and treat it as like this, or treat it as a medicine, well, not as a medicine. They themselves cannot be a medicine. They are a direction on your path. They're like GPS, and they're telling you where else you need some work done so that you can be free. And when this happens with other people or in a group setting, this means that usually you have a trauma bonding or joint memory. Doesn't necessarily have to mean that you have done something to somebody or that they have done something to you. It just means that there are energetic connections that needs to be cleared, acknowledged, cleared, and then released. So whether this means that you will be uh, in each other's lives or not, it doesn't really matter at the moment, because what you need to have are healthy relationships. And when they are based in these trauma responses and trauma bonds, they're usually not healthy. So this is inviting you to do something about it so that you can have this relationship or some other relationships healthy. So if this means having a different kind of relationship with somebody who has triggered you or whom you have triggered, after that, that's great. It's even better. That's the perfect thing. But sometimes it can also mean that certain people don't belong in your life. Certain people are draining you energy, or certain energies are draining you energy. Certain beings are draining you energy from through these people and through these connections, and they're draining your energy and energies of everybody else who were in this event. So this is why I said that these triggers are like scars of wounds. Yes, they are memories, but they're like scars, and the certain energies and beings can connect to those scars because they can see them. So this is, I mean, I've been already talking about it, but like I said, it's everything that my work is based on. This is what we do in regressions. This is why we do past life regressions. But mostly this is why we do spiritual regression, because when you go to the higher planes, your guides and mentors and council of elders clear those scars, and they don't patch them up. They heal them, and they are filled with new energy so that you're not triggered anymore when something similar comes. So when you see something coming, when you sense some energy coming, and you don't have the usual emotional response to it, that means you're free from it. It doesn't scare, something doesn't scare you anymore. Something doesn't make you angry anymore. Something doesn't instigate in you a reaction that you cannot control. That is basically a little bit unconscious. And it doesn't really matter how much you are trying to tell to yourself or somebody else that this is not unconscious. This happens to everybody. I mean, we're only human, we're divine. We're not only human, but it happens to everybody who's still on earth, because we're still here. We're in a human body. We're in a human vessel. And as long as we have it, we are having those kind of responses because we have had many lifetimes. And usually when these kind of energies happen, when good energies come, new energies that you need to integrate come, you first have to clear the old stuff, which is okay. You can do it in many different ways, in many different therapies besides mine. It doesn't need to be a past life regression or a spiritual regression, or there are many energy therapies that do this. But as long as you do something about it, or you can do it yourself, because you're okay. Just sit with yourself and call your guides and ask them, what's going on here? Show me. You can see it in dreams, or you can just ask them to clear it. This is for people who are already in some kind of work and advanced. Others can be very triggered, like we are seeing lately with a whole bunch of us, a whole bunch of people around. And this is happening because of the new energies that we're receiving. And, like I've already mentioned this metaphor, like it's like water, like when you pour water into a bottle or a jug or something, and you have some dirt inside of it. So when you pour the water, the dirt has to come out first. It does come out first usually, and then it goes away, and then you have the clear water, which clears the jug, and then when you keep pouring, then you can drink the water because it's pure, and then it can become a medicine, and it can become a medicine for somebody else. But sometimes the dirt that comes out is like mud, and sometimes it's just dirt, sometimes it's mud, and sometimes it got really earthy, and it got very solid, and it needs a little bit of time and a little bit of help to disintegrate a little bit and to become muddy and to become watery, so that it can come out, so it can actually be cleared. And this is what we usually need help. Majority of people doesn't even know what's happening to them in those kind of things. We're not always talking about karma. It's karma, and it is our memories, but sometimes there are implants and imprints and which are placed in your wounds, in your scars. Sometimes there are scars, but they are sometimes deliberately tampered with, so that they create triggering to create a certain response that somebody else wants in you, so that you are not acting like yourself, and that you keep running around searching for what's going on and not actually receiving a true memory that is behind this scar that's under whatever was placed over this scar. Because the implanting thing, the ones that I'm talking about, it's usually traumatic itself. So that creates scars. And everything is written in our energy, and we can remember those things. It just takes a little bit more time. And usually with the memories that are very hidden, they do come out with triggering, because if you cannot access them differently, your usually your body will tell you, like I keep mentioning, or your energy itself will tell you through an emotional reaction or through an emotional response. And it's usually a response that's a little bit, it's odd. It's a little bit too much, and you look somebody, you can look crazy to somebody, you can look crazy to yourself, or you can just not act like you usually act. It doesn't have to be excessive, but you wouldn't usually make a decision like that. You wouldn't usually do something like that, or you wouldn't usually say something like that. And other people can react to you in the same way, because of various things, not only because of the joint memory that you have. Sometimes, especially if you are in helping professions and you do a lot of work on yourself and with other people, you are already instigating, triggering in other people, because your energy vibrates differently already. And when you have to be in an environment that is of a different, I won't say lower, but different vibration than yours, which is more common than yours, only your presence can instigate triggering in certain people. And of course, if there are energies, beings that can see why are you different, They might even try to attach or attack, or they just don't want you on their territory. So people will react maybe in a strange way towards you. And this has been happening especially lately because everybody's being triggered. And mm, mostly, not everybody's being triggered in order to heal, but mostly this is the case. So if you treat your reactions and reactions of other people like this, it's going to be much easier to go through these times that we are going through right now, because it's um, there are a lot of conflicting energies around at the moment, and there are a lot of energies that are trying to lower the vibration, and they will be directed and targeted at you if you are somebody who is trying to help others and raise the vibration of yourself and others. The only thing that you need to do is actually heal yourself and raise your own vibration, and this will in fact infect the energy of people around you. And if they start reacting oddly towards you, then think about this. You will have to heal those energy connections, and with some, you will have to disconnect completely because they have been draining you possibly a little bit more than necessary. And this is especially going to happen when you start to heal yourself, because those ones will not like it. You cannot change other people, and you cannot influence them deliberately if they do not want to heal or change. But I promise you, if you are persistent on your path, and if you are persistently working on yourself, this will change your connections, and eventually they will change their response towards you. Maybe they won't be doing as much work on themselves, but they will have a different reaction towards you. But even, I mean, if this doesn't happen after a couple of years too, this is not something that happens overnight though. But if it doesn't happen after a couple of years, it's never going to happen. That means if they continue having this kind of reaction towards you, that means that either you're not looking in a proper spot, you didn't find the exact scar that this is connecting to, or they're benefiting from you staying stuck somehow, from you not moving forward in the direction that you want to move forward, and they want to keep you. And when they cannot keep you, they will become aggressive and odd with you and do odd things, uh, manipulative things and other things, just to keep you in their vibration, in maybe lower vibration than you want to be. Yeah, this, when you don't treat triggers in this way, um, they're going to be a distraction. They're going to be a distraction. They're not going to be a GPS. They're going to be a distraction to where you want to go. They can mislead you, they can misguide you, and keep you running around in circles and repeating the patterns. And they can even be used and manipulated so that you keep going around in loops and repeating and replaying a scenario that happened like God knows when, repeating this dynamic, and maybe even repeating the events and of what happened to you. So it is, even if you cannot, even if you cannot stop yourself in a reaction that you're having at the moment, response or reaction, um, after a while it will be a good idea to think about it and sit with yourself and your therapists, your healers, your energy workers, and discuss what has happened, so that you see what triggered you and what instigated this reaction in you and somebody else. And um, it is not good to be in distractions. Sometimes we cannot avoid it because there are too many of them. And that means that, but we're going to be going our way anyways, but it's going to be taking us a little bit of time and energy uh, to work through slower where we want to go. But if we do our work, our inner work, then it doesn't usually have to be um, it doesn't have to be a distraction. You can actually point your way, and maybe you even discover something that you haven't been able to discover for a really long time, something that you have been working on for quite a while, but you just didn't have all of the information. You just couldn't get all of the information. And yeah, that's uh, that's how it works. I mean, not everything is triggering. Not everything is a trigger. Sometimes an fear reaction is completely valid because there are situations that are frightening. Sometimes an anger reaction is completely valid because there are situations that do make you angry. Uh, but it's about how you, I'm talking about how you respond. And everything that is happening lately is measuring us in this, how we respond to these situations, how, what is our reaction to something. It's like everybody's initiation to a next level or some level, wherever that is, according to how you react to a certain event and situation. And this is lately, especially, this is why it is a very good idea that you treat your triggers like GPS to see, to actually see where are you going with it. Are you going into the direction where you want to go, or are you going into the direction where somebody else wants you to go? Or maybe you were going in a direction that actually somebody else wanted you to go, while all along you were thinking it was your idea. And then you, through triggering, discover that it was not your call at all. It was not your path after all, and you um, stumbled away from yourself a little bit, and this is calling you back and telling you that all you need to do is work on your inner world and understand what's happening with you, and decide how do you want to respond to this call, to this situation, to this initiation. And sometimes you will feel these energy patterns and energy scars, triggers, physically, even though they're not physical, because something is either attaching to that place or trying to attach to that place, or there's something there that you need to pay attention to. It's like now while I'm talking, I have this, my left side, my left kidney, I have this pressure, and I feel that spot at the moment while I'm talking about this. And I know by now what is it, because I've I've worked on it. But this yeah, I don't think I'm going to be mentioning this now. But I will be speaking of some triggers lately, because my own triggers, because I can only speak from my own experience. I mean, I do have clients with triggers. We treat them all the time, but it's in the work that I do, we don't actually seek for triggers, and this therapy doesn't base on removing the triggers. We're seeking for memories and causes of some things, and during that process, triggers get removed, especially when we go in the upper plane and into the soul plane when we do spirit regression. spiritual regression, but we don't necessarily. I'm not necessarily only focusing on triggers. There are other therapies that do that, and they are effective because they help you function in this realm, in this reality, and this is all any of us needs to do at the moment. At the moment, we all need to stumble through these passages, and this is why I believe this will be helpful in understanding and trying to seek what is going on with people around you and yourself, especially when you find yourself in a little bit of crazy situation. When they're pumping up a lot of fear around, either with news or things they say or media or with vibration, with certain energy vibration, and they're tampering with it a lot, whether they're using technology or um, astral stuff or rituals. They're pumping up fear, and most people will be triggered on fear because people are afraid to die. People are afraid of death, and they don't understand it. And sometimes, people don't understand that in order for us to go in a new life, in a new direction, uh, death means dying of the old, dying of the old system, dying of old ways, of the ways that we used to function, that we used to um, do things before, which can be scary because, I mean, when you say something like that, people think that they will physically die. And not everybody will physically die. That means that something old is dying so that you can step into another version of you. This is what's happening to everybody at the moment, but with the manipulation that is going on, manipulation of this, everybody thinks that, I mean, they are manipulating our fear of that. So just beware of that. I mean, it's a natural process in life. Yeah, we're all afraid that something might happen to us or something might happen to people that we love and we are connected to. But that's the only certain thing in this reality that is going to happen at some point. So just don't let people tamper there, because it can happen anytime. So don't allow your reactions to be manipulated into the direction that somebody else wants you to have, because you have this unconscious fear of something unexpected happening. We have all had memories of tragedies in ourselves, of from all over. We all have memories of different kinds of deaths of us and of our loved ones, and that's where anybody can uh, tamper with and create a trigger. But that's okay. We're all human. As long as you recognize it, that's okay. And even if you make a mistake or have a wrong kind of reaction or hurt somebody throughout this process, I mean, I don't mean physically. Um, I won't say that's okay, but we are all human vessels here. We all get triggered. There are no exceptions. We are not gods and goddesses. We are divine. But gods and goddesses don't claim they are gods and goddesses. And we all get triggered. It doesn't really matter how much work have we done on ourselves, how much we see, what kind of dimensions we see, where do we go at night, how much do we astrally travel, and how old we are. There's always something that can be picked out and come out at some point, because we're only human. With being divine, we are human and we are still here. If we didn't have all this, we wouldn't be here. We would be physically in another dimension. Whether we die physically or go with our physical vessel there, we would be there, not here. And we wouldn't be um, chewing on that, but we would be, you know, we wouldn't even bother of talking about something or discussing with somebody or needing to make a point to somebody that somebody did something, so we just, I don't know, felt like this or saw this and that, because it doesn't matter at that moment. You're not triggered. When you're not triggered, you don't have a reaction at all. You don't, it just passes you by like this. So yeah, it is especially like hard to people who are in healing professions, and when you are working with people, you open space for certain things to be healed. So when you open space for yourself to heal certain things, if you are in a group setting, or in whether they are, those are your friends or some groups that you are in, or your future clients or whatever, you'll be opening space for that healing for a whole bunch of people. And if they are not ready for this kind of healing, they can abreact towards you. Yeah, this is triggering, but I wouldn't even call it a triggering. In psychology, this is called abreaction, because they won't even look or understand their response, because they will think it was perfectly valid for them, because they're not ready to go there. And whatever you say, whatever you try to do, uh, it will be spinned around and avoided, because they're not ready to go there where you're going at the moment. This has happened to me recently, and like I said, when I can only speak about, I mean, yeah, I do have clients, but I can only speak about some certain memories and certain things from my own uh, perspective and from my own learning point and my own memory. And I share it because it's opening space for something to be healed. And if you listen to something and then you have resonance with what I say, this is also triggering, but not in a negative way. It's it's showing you that you respond to something and you need to look at that, and this is why you call me when you want a session with me. Or if I upset you, what I say upset you or goes on your nerves, or I have like, oh, why are you touching your hair and doing this and doing that, that's triggering too, because it's not about what I do in this video. It's about what I say and what I open space for to be healed. So yeah, I will open space for something to be healed now. I did it in a video in Serbian, and I did it in a little bit different manner because I was still under emotional reaction about that. But I've done a bit of work on it, so I'm just in a different space at the moment, but I'm still going to speak about it. I have had a situation recently in a group setting where I shared something that was highly triggering for some reason. And what I've seen from reactions from people, I mean, my friends and other people, wherever I share this, it is highly triggering for a majority of people. And I suspect that it's going to be triggering now, even now, for those who will be listening to it, because obviously a whole lot of people have memories of it, and a lot of people participated in it, or something similar happened to them. So Yeah, I don't like being in groups a lot. I don't like working with groups, and I don't like being a participant in large groups. I don't feel okay in group setting because I'm very sensitive energetically. I'm sensitive to energies, and a lot of it goes through me. And especially if it's not properly handled with anybody who is leading that group, I pick up a lot. And I that's one of the reasons why I don't like to be in groups. And I especially don't like working with female groups. And only recently, like maybe a couple of months ago, while working on other things, on other issues that I've been talking about, I have discovered why. Because I have a big sister group wound, and in another feminine group, we were talking about this, and opening space for healing this. And I share that because I don't. I mean, I'm not a very trusting person, so I don't trust humans too much in general, but I don't trust women more than I don't trust men. I don't trust women one bit, although I have a lot of friends. I have had many bad experiences throughout my lifetime, this lifetime and other lifetimes, with women, mostly women more than men. Uh, and I'm not. It's not coming from my issues with my mother and my motherly side. It's coming from issues with various stepmothers and sister wound that I had, that I just mentioned. I had way back somewhere in possibly a galactic sisterhood. I was having a sister group that I was leading, and I shared a gift with a sister who was a biological sister at that moment to me, or well, if something like that on these levels is possible. I mean, because I don't know where that was, and we could only use this gift while holding hands. And there were other women in this group, and this group was tampered with and destroyed. Um, but with other women, I didn't share a gift with them. I recognized them because most of them came to my sessions. They came to me on their own, like I already know, like 6 or 7 of them. We didn't share a gift, but we were doing something to enhance the energies of our powers and gifts that we were using. We were doing energy work and we were grounding other energies and healing and creating in this way, because we're all powerful creators, creatrixes. And with this sister, we shared the gift, and because we were giving it at the same time and we could only use it by holding hands. And something happened to her, that she got infiltrated or something. And I don't know exactly what she has done, but this has destroyed the group, and a lot of traumas to other of them happened, and myself. And she wasn't trusted anymore, and by higher beings that were in charge of this work, I was given this gift. uh, and it doesn't it she couldn't be trusted anymore. That doesn't mean that somebody stole something from her, because it's not how it works, especially with higher beings. They never interfere. Uh, but if you betray the trust that they are placing in you, and I have heard this from various clients. I mean, by now I've had around 400 clients. It's not thousands, but I do have certain experience with people, and nothing bad has ever happened to any of them, and nothing bad has ever come through me to any of them. Although some of them came with very serious energies and beings on them, and nothing bad happened to them or me in this process. So I needed to say this because of some people that will be listening to this. So I've heard from some of those clients several times repeatedly that when they were abusing their gifts, uh, their powers, sort of speaking, they left them. The energy sort of just left them, like the river flowing out of you. The energy left. And to most of them, they didn't tell me that somebody else took it. Yes, this can happen, and it's possible to do it. So, but this is dark stuff. This is what those that want to control you and manipulate you usually promise you that they will do for you, and take something from somebody else and give it to you so that they can project through you, because basically you don't even have it, they have it. So that's not how it works with higher beings, and that's not what happened. But um, she blamed me, and she thinks something was stolen from her and that I stole it. And until today, she's been, I mean, everything that I've been working through and trying to dismantle and understand led me to the same direction and to the same address, which is this woman. And she's been searching me through various lifetimes, and uh, taking like, I don't know, at some moments it looks like she believes that I'm only born so that I can be used by her, because she wants whatever I have, because she believes, or she's been programmed to believe, that is hers. And that's not how it works. This is just to keep you trapped, and this is just to keep me trapped. And as I was searching of where this comes from, I discovered that it started on Orion, and I already mentioned Orion Wars. And this started with some conquerors, uh, and those conquerors were like, I saw them as dark apparitions. People say who were working with me, they say that they're dark magicians, but they're not magicians. They're dark apparitions. People who allow them into their space energetically can be called dark magicians, but they're not. But what happened is that I was the queen on Orion. Orion has a long history and has a lot of various cultures. So if you have certain memory, and a memory mentions some queen on Orion, that might not be me. I was the queen at some point. I was the queen at some point in history there, and of some culture, because there were other queens, and I was the youngest one in this sisterhood or whatever that was, in this lineage. And they had different domains. So these conquerors at that moment, for this particular kingdom, they were not attacking it physically, they were attacking it astrally, and they were manipulative. They had a tactic, divide and conquer, like usual, like now, like any time in history. And they were buying off people. There were people, beings there, and they made a deal with some either clergy or some decision makers. I mean, I didn't see everything, so I don't know the details, but I found about it. I knew, or somebody warned me, and I wanted to disclose them. I wanted to speak the truth to the people, and to approach the people and tell them what's going on, and to give power to the people to decide what they want to do. And I confronted them. I confronted this corruption, and I think actually that some of them were family members or lineage members or whatever. Uh, but they overpowered me, and they killed me. They drowned me, and they replaced me with a clone. Which means usually that the clones are made of your energy, your DNA. And I was told at first that they steal your ovaries and create clones from your ovaries. They are lab grown, and they are not grown from a child to an adult. They just grow up into an adult. Uh, that overnight, and they look exactly like you. It's just that they also have artificial intelligence in them, and they look human. They look human. They look like, that being with physical being of, but with artificial intelligence in them, and they have no emanation because there's nothing in them. They don't have a soul. They have to have your energy to be alive. So that from every now and a while they have to drain your energy out so that they can keep the clone running. And those people who created a clone, and it looked like the queen is still alive. uh, and there were many actually after, people who I spoke to who told me that they have memories of, having a fight or confronting the queen and Orion for doing bad things. But this was like this was not me. I was dead at the time. It was just a clone that they thought it was me, and they were uh, running it. They had the power. They took my place, and the clone had no power nor emanation. It just had to be present there so that everybody else thinks everything is okay and nothing has changed. So that people are convinced that, you know everything is still okay. And I don't know actually what happened afterwards. I didn't see anybody from whom I mentioned. So speaking about this woman, uh, she wasn't there at this time. She's just working for these beings who are actually, what's happening here now and everything that I've been sharing is like a mirror reflection of what's happening there. And she's been manipulated also because she works for them. She just thinks she's tapping into something, but somebody else actually receives everything and has the benefits of it. She's also just being used to do the work for somebody else. I mean, she has bosses, and I think she knows that because she knows who she works for. And these are those, alien companies that I mentioned. There are other beings who are not physical beings, but they also have clones right here now. And they're using other people. But the bosses, they're high shots. Some of them are in high position. I think there's three of them, and some of them lately. At, I don't know if they're all men, but at least two of them are, and they're all on high positions and like posh and possibly businessman with a company or um, even working for an embassy or something like that. Foreigners, they are the ones who are in charge. And the other one, it's a large group. It's quite large group, and she is like the boss of everybody else who were creating troubles for me. Like, and I've recently discovered uh, this man who's been stalking me astrally and doing things, and he has a group of other people around him. There are three men and quite a few women. And I'm not going to go into that now, but basically, uh, I have had these problems when I came to the point of disclosing them here now, like I had before. It's only that there I died, and trust me, it's not happening again. So um, what happened then? When I shared this in the group, this was the part that was triggering for everybody else. For most of them, there was like around 30 people there, and I was told that I attacked somebody while I was speaking about it, and although they kind of didn't believe it. They said that I had an entity on me that attacked those people. And I still think that everybody was triggered. Like everybody in the group was triggered with what I said, because I was opening space for this memory from Orion to be healed. And when I checked afterwards, yes, they were participated in it this or that way. I already had many clients with the same kind of memory. And this is why most of them were brought to me, so we heal this. And they don't necessarily work on this, but it comes up. And some of them were telling me bits and pieces of this story. So some people were triggered because they have pain from what has happened, because they lost somebody they loved and trusted. Uh, and some people have pain because they saw what happened and couldn't do anything about it and couldn't change the outcome. But some people were triggered because they participated directly and withhold information, had benefits from it, and participated in my downfall and in my me being killed. So I mean, because I worked afterwards on that, because that was very hurtful for me. That really, I was I'm not I was asked. I mean, I was out of that group, and everything that has happened after that, uh, without, I mean, I didn't have the space to discuss it, but I worked on myself. But that was highly um, painful for me. And other things happened because I was left vulnerable and alone, and somebody wanted me vulnerable and alone. And it was not about me opening this group to be infiltrated. It was about removing me from a safe space so that I feel alone and vulnerable, so that I can be an easy prey. Because, like, in days, couple of days afterwards, they came on physically. They came on physically wanting to enter my space, my flat. They sent clients. They came on through a client. I was triggered through a client who has been participating in this event and has been killed because she wanted to warn me. She's been sacrificed, and I have died also by trying to help her. She's been a bait for me there, and she's been a bait for me here. And the ones who were paid in this lifetime, who had nothing to do with what happened there, they were just hired to do to execute some work. They were trying to find a space and opening into my life. And then they sent another one. There were two people who wanted to be clients with these kind of energies lately. And it's been really difficult to hold the boundaries for this very aggressive energies that want, very invasive energies that wanted to come in. And I know what I'm talking about, because uh, I ended up in hospital a while ago because of an astral attack, and I saw pretty well the person who was attacking me, and I recognized that person he was trying to come through clients. So they belong to this group, and I don't know whether at least one of them is not aware of it, but they're part of the group. They are being used, and I mean, I have been really sad, and I've been really, I mean, even crying about it, because I didn't want to refuse help to a client who's really in need. But because things were happening every time that we spoke, I mean, I didn't refuse the help. I referred the client to somebody else, but things happened to me and things happened to this person, and they were coming through this client, and she's not aware of it. She does need help, but um this is not how we're gonna play. I'm not playing with these energies, and they don't have an opening, and they don't have a space here. So it's been difficult because I've been thinking all the time, what would Christ do in this situation? Because I felt the same. I felt kicked out, and I didn't want to refuse my help to somebody, and they knew exactly that my response would be that, and they were tapping into that. But they were tapping into my energy through this client and draining me out of it. So we offered help as a team in a little bit different way. And trust me, there are more people than what I actually shared who were involved in this thing. And she's been helped, but in a different way. So, we're speaking about Christ consciousness. Christ wouldn't deny anybody from help. And I sat and I asked him how to do this, what to do. And I gave this to him to resolve. Because it's beyond me. It's beyond my capacities. It's beyond it's beyond what I do and what I know. It's beyond my experience. And I asked him to deal with it. Because it's his domain. And this is the energy that works through me. But it's this energy that works through me. I don't have a magic wand to make somebody's life work and be different just because they came to my session and they think everything is going to be different. It's different for every client, and it's up to a client. When they're connected to their parts of themselves, to their soul and their guides, and when they truly accept this energy and their guides, when they choose themselves, when they choose the best version of themselves, when they choose to allow these higher beings to guide them, things can change, but it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's different for everybody. But they do the work. Their soul does the work, not me. And I don't like this tampering of, you are so powerful and you can help me. I don't do anything here. I'm just your guide. I don't take credits for this, and I don't like it. And I also don't like the attempt of being disconnected from this energy that works through me, because this is my protection also. This is my higher power. This is, my higher beings that I connect to. And I don't like this. And I don't want this. And I'm not allowing this in my space. So if you're coming with these kind of intentions towards me, I don't have a problem of not working for a while and not having clients at all. Because I'd rather not do anything and work at all than create a mess for myself or somebody else. And this is not how we're going to play. So just saying, for the next time somebody thinks they can send something through a client because they have sent directed negative energy directed towards me through this client. And I know it because when I say, okay, we're done, we're disconnecting, just something went straight through me. And it was not nice. So I'm just saying this for the other therapists that are going to be listening to this. But also, this is highly manipulative. This is so mean, evil, when somebody hits you on your humanity, where somebody hits you on the most soft part of you, or the part that wants to give, your kindness and your best qualities that you have. It makes you feel guilty because you're not wanting to help somebody or do something for somebody, or just I don't know, trying to pump ego in there. This is, and this is what they're doing to us all over. If you don't wear a mask, you are going to kill somebody. You're contagious and you're going to kill somebody, and somebody catches something from you. And you think you are more valuable than somebody else. Or don't help these people, they're sick, and you're gonna catch something. This is playing with our humanity. And this is highly, I mean, it's evil, it's pure evil. I don't like it. But I'm not allowing anybody to play with that, with my humanity. I'm gonna offer my help in the way I see fit. But that doesn't mean that I'm playing with anybody and I'm opening space to fight with somebody or to play with these kind of energies. No. And no means no. And also, what I just shared about what happened with the triggering of me, and that was a game. And you have just beautifully delivered me through the ones that I was actually supposed to be protected. I was the one who was attacked there. And I didn't feel protected or safe. I don't feel safe in that group anymore, and I wouldn't want to come back. And that was highly hurtful. Other things have happened along the way, but I was like, you know, that showed me I actually only need God. I only need Christ. Sadly, it also showed me that, it confirmed my attitude not to work with groups, which is exactly what should have been healed. But I was opening space not only for the healing of the Orion memory, and I'm not going to stop in that. I'm going to heal it. And actually, I already did it and changed that scenario so that people stood by the Queen and helped the Queen and removed the invaders out of the kingdom and out of that universe as far as they could go without a possibility for them to come back. Plus, they invited Galactic Federation of Light as allies to help them and keep the borders of the kingdom and of this galaxy intact. So I would like to see people standing up all over for themselves more. And I just I opened space. I actually think this is a secret space program setup. This was the secret space program setup for me. And with all the triggering that was going around, you delivered beautifully. Because at about that time, I had my Saturn return going direct, my 19 years, and my 20 and back program was ending because secret space program has expiry date, and they are trying to lure you back in. And secret space program is not the same as Galactic Federation of Light. I haven't worked properly on it, and I haven't had clients with it, but I have memories of it, so I cannot speak much about it because I don't want to make a mistake. But what I know and what has been confirmed, my contract has ended, and they were trying to make me to come back to it, and I don't want to. I'm not going back there. And if this was some sort of an initiation for me, it was very aggressive initiation, and I don't believe that higher beings are aggressive. I have never seen them being aggressive. And this crown of thorns that you have placed on me, I wear it with pride actually, because I did realize that I only need God. I don't need all this shit. I already have been taught by higher beings of some things, so they can continue doing that, and they have been very successful in it so far. So that's all I need. I have also had this is also the part of an integration of my divine masculine, which is okay, which should be happening. We were opening space for that. But the thing is that I is still on the ship. I don't know about his contract, but in me, that part of me was still on the ships, and this is the unintegrated part of me. And I've been seeing around that time um, this native indigenous. I mean, I don't know. We've seen him as a Native American, but it's like I don't know. I mean, it can be Latin American. It's a being that look humanoid, but very like huge being, who's like a race creator, initiator of a race of this lineage, not race, lineage. Well, race. But it's I don't know if this is Hyperborea or some even further away memory, because I just have some memories that are different from what I've been hearing about all this. And I think we also had other attempts of this human and earth experiment before that were not so successful. And these invaders that I'm talking about have invaded other places in the universe. And that can be even Orion, because I thought at one moment that, because I didn't see him in this memory, that we were one being, that we were this queen. But no, he was like a nature guy, like lived in nature, worked in nature, lived with wolves, and worked in with animals and nature. That could even be him. And I saw him on a ship, so I think that could be a spaceship that was closing the gates, and he was on a horse that was wounded, and he was trying to jump out of that place, but the gates were closing. So quite possibly that he even died at that moment, and he seemed like a very courageous soul. So I have this in my energy. So no wonder that I openly speak about some things, because I have this courage of this man in me. And so another one, another memory of the same being and a different time, like a gaucho with a poncho on a horse again. And I think this horse memory was instigated by me meeting a horse that was my old friend from other lives, and he just instigated all of this. I mean, I had so many dreams after just riding once this horse, because he was like very loyal and trusting and very old friend that I obviously missed a lot. I didn't even know about it. So uh, that's one thing which is not a bad thing. That should be happening. This integration should be happening, but it's just that um, this energy still resides on ship, and it should be um, removing himself from there. So yeah, I was opening space for something really important to be healed for quite a few people, and I got slapped because of it. But it doesn't mean I'm gonna stop. Hey, nobody has to go where they don't want to go. That's fine. but it's also not allowed to mistreat me and discredit me because you are not ready for something and you cannot accept something. And even if something was coming through me, the reaction would, there would be other reactions that would be more appropriate than, leaving me being hurt and alone and doing things behind my back that I actually feel and see, because I have a little bit of abilities that I might look, which also tells me you don't properly see me. And anyways, this showed me something. This showed me everything I need to know. It showed me who's on my side and who's not, and where do I belong and where I don't. And it's obviously not my place there. So I needed to say this because I'm like the eternal calamari chicken, and I keep always clearing some injustice ever since then, since Orion, obviously, because it's injustice. Like, and I'm not saying this like just to make fun of. I mean, most of my friends who know me for quite a while have been telling me that I'm just like a calamari chicken. Yeah. Some things just need to be left like they are once the energy lines are cleared, and some things can be reconnected. And I assume that I'm going to experience something again after posting this video, but I'm going to do it anyway because this needs to be healed. And just speaking about this group that I mentioned, and the one who is in charge, he works with artificial intelligence and mostly creates havoc through that. So just have that in mind. For some reason, this went, and that was like sign for me that I needed to say it. Want to be healers? Think about deeply first what you need to heal inside of you, because it's going to come sooner or later and it's going to hit you straight in the face, whether you're ready or not, because the only person that you can heal is yourself, and by that you are healing others, and they come to you because they feel the energy connections that are being healed, and they're dragging them, because once the soul is awakened, its entire world awakens. And this is why people come to you, and seemingly you help them and you awake them, but the only person that you have helped and awakened is you. They're just a reflection of a memory. So it's essentially you're healing your unintegrated parts of yourself through them in a different soup. And I guess it took a little bit longer now, but I just need to say that. And speaking about that, I'm holding a morganite, which the name of the stone represents, not the stone itself, but the name of the stone represents a very deeply hurt an unintegrated and unhealed part of me. And I've been carrying pain of this woman for too long. I've been healing it for too long, and hopefully now we have come to a closing of it, because she has experienced huge injustice, so huge that just there are no words that can explain them. And I'm just grateful and proud that I'm part and allowed in this lineage, but I'm just one small being, um, one speck of this greater energy that has huge responsibility. And if you don't understand how huge this responsibility is, then don't even try to speaking about how you are representation or reincarnation or part of that lineage, because it's gonna eat you alive. It's huge karma and a huge responsibility. Karma is a lesson, by the way, but if you're not ready for those lessons, they will kick your butt. Like they were kicking mine. But for now, I'm grateful immensely to this larger being in this soul group that is taking care of me. And that's all I need. Thank you. And thank you for having patience and attention to listen to me.